I do certainly want to be brief today because we've got a pretty packed agenda. I'm trying to think of how that old adage goes. History, it doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. Now, in that rhyming, there are tremendous opportunities for all of us to better serve our customers, to better build loyalty, to improve the financial performance of your organization and correspondingly the profits. Let me tell you how that repeating and that rhyming can be of help for you. You know, loyal customers form very, very predictable buying patterns into their preferences for specific products or categories of products, the typical amount that they might spend on a week in and week out or month in and month out basis, how often they come, and even things like when they're going to be coming here next. And with that kind of information, we can do some pretty powerful things. If we can add on top of that some proven polling or survey capabilities so we can get customer feedback and some communication tools, you can understand where the power of ProfitEdge, which is our solution, can kind of go. Imagine, if you would, a very, very small boutique shop, okay, where the customer or the owner seems to know all the customers. He or she will know when a customer is in, whether they're buying less than they typically spend. He or she will know when he hasn't seen their customer in a period of time and might want to reach out to that person to determine what's going on and why they haven't been by. They might even pick up the phone to see what's happening. The problem with this is that it just doesn't scale, right? You can't run a big complex organization today. So enter ProfitEdge. Now, we'll talk about things like artificial intelligence and machine learning. Alok, if you just want to go full screen, that's fine with me. If we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, and that jargon may be familiar or unfamiliar to you, but instead think about things like data analytics or data science, because I don't want anyone to be confused with the jargon. Take the data science, pair this with proven satisfaction tools such as Net Promoter Score that can indeed be executed at scale and then acted upon. Finally, know that ProfitEdge is available in a very tightly cohesive single product as opposed to discrete solutions that come from different vendors. And you get an idea about where we could go with this. I think most people certainly want to provide feedback, and if you earnestly ask for that feedback from customers and act upon it, you're really doing a lot to improve customer loyalty. The cool thing is the way in which our solution was put together. It doesn't ask you to do anything differently or more than you are probably doing already as it relates to the customer interaction. We'll use your cash register, e-commerce software, if they're in hospitality, your property management system. So it's, how do I say this? It's minimally disruptive of the front end of the customer. And I think that that's great because it means that all the work is really kind of occurring in the back end. And honestly, you'll begin getting those benefits within really months of it being initially deployed. Literally, it will pay for itself. So 2021 was a tremendous year for us as an organization. We've built out the capabilities that we had imagined. There's still always more to do, but we're really excited about entering 2022. And hard to believe we're in here now the second or third week of December. So with that, I think I want to get over to our keynote speaker. But before I do that, let's take a look at our agenda here real fast. And he's going to be speaking, and this is Vibhav Sazena. He is with Accenture. He's going to be speaking a little bit about data, how it's a really strategic asset, and certainly we are in line with that. Later on, we're going to be taking a look with our roadmap for 2022 in terms of product functionality. That'll be hosted by our president, Alok Verma. And then we'll see some information about success stories that we've had through 2021 that we're going to be building upon in the coming year. And then lastly, Intertec is a strategic partner of ours in the Dubai area. They're going to speak at length with regard to the deployment, utilizing their professional services group before we kind of come back and wrap up. So with that entry, Vibhav, take it away.
Thank you, Dave. So I'm Vibhav Saxena. I work with Accenture as their Applied Intelligence Director. We look into a lot of machine learning, AI capabilities. and into retail as well as hospitality sector, as well as clients on the East Coast in the US. So today I would be presenting you our point of view on what we see in going on in the retail industry and hospitality industry, and how you cannot just survive but thrive this market. So yeah, thank you, Alok, for showing this slide. So there has really been a storm in this industry in the past few years, if you see, and let me give you a few examples here. Cipriani Group of Hotels, which is like one of the flagship hotels in New York, and they do host gala events to the tune where mayor also stops by after their parties. If you read in Wall Street Journal yesterday, they are filing for bankruptcy because they cannot service their debt. They cannot just survive this market in the last 2 years. And Alok, I can see Alok is smiling in there because me and Alok were there in one of their properties this early this quarter. Again, the same example, not just in New York, but if you see it's in Chicago, the Ritz-Carlton, which has been open for last 100 years and serviced their guests for 100 years, closed down their doors recently last year, because we'll talk about those details, but basically those hotels chains which have been there for 100 years, have been servicing their guests, are not able to survive this market. Similarly, I was speaking to one of the executives at Marriott recently, and he was like, we do not compare ourselves with the hotels. We do not compare ourselves with Hyatt or Hilton. We compare ourselves with Google, so that people can come in, get an experience, find the hotel, find the services that they need. So they are going into that particular direction. And not just hospitality. If you see, look in the retail industry, Toys R Us, which used to be the place to go for toys for kids, is no more. It just stopped by in like 3 years back. They were taken over by private equity because they were not able to sustain the market. Similarly, if you see Best Buy or Amazon, everybody goes to Amazon, and that's the best example, but they have been pushing the limits. The problem that we see as Accenture see as happening is in this particular industry, there are lots of data, lots of system. You have CRM, you have PMS, you have social media, you have lots of systems coming around. But what happens is sales is going in a different direction, marketing is going in a different direction. And the problem that comes to the C-suite is that they are not able to take the decisions. They are not able to take consolidate all the insights into one place and then take a decision. And I'll give you one more example of how things are when they are done correctly. So can you, next slide, please? So what do we do in such a situation is data comes as the main point. And if you think about in 2007, when Netflix was there, Netflix was starting sending out DVDs in 2007, and they took over Blockbuster. The example that when we see going back is that it's not because they were able to pipe the DVDs to us, they were able to build the content for us. It is because they had the preferences of users. They knew what Beva would be watching 10 movies down the line. That was the data that they had, and that they built up their company on top of it. So what we see right now is happening is lots of systems, lots of silos, lack of strong governance, and that is causing these problems. And to address this problem, what companies do is they typically focus on migration to the cloud, data governance, management, but that is just a part of the solution. Getting the full value of data means focusing on business outcomes, culture, process, and ways of working. So, and you have to work along with, take the data, work along with the partners, along with the organizations, get a full 360-degree view, and then go around making those decisions. So, next slide, please. So that comes in where you can use that data and use it as a strategic asset. Retailers are closer to unleashing data as a strategic asset right now as we see into the market, not just in customer experience, but innovation, operations, and growth. And they are using that data to keep track of the changing consumer behaviors, market trends, and competitive dynamics. And that's how they become data driven. If you look into, like, Christmas is one of the times where most of the sales happen in the US, right? But if you go to a mall and if you see Ralph Lauren, or you see the big American brands which we used to buy things in earlier, they are craving for footfall. But instead, if you in Barcelona, like there is a Zara every 10th store or 10th store in the main avenue in Barcelona is a Zara store. And if you see inside there, the lines of people buying things in there. What are they doing correctly versus what are Ralph Lauren couldn't do, or what Asina couldn't do? A lot of retailers closed down in the last 20 years. A lot of clothing chains closed down. Not just because they did not have the money, they did not have the will, they did not have the data, but it is the use of data that was not done correctly. And if you see Zara is a great example because they change their style, they change their designs every 2 months instead of every 6 months, which happens in a typical fashion store. So use that data to bring out your strategy, to use with the AI and with your technology together to build out customer experience and improve your operations. Next slide, please. And let me give you an example of how this particular big strategy of using data can cut out into every of this, each of these segments that we are showing up here. So I was staying in a hotel last month in the middle of nowhere, and thanks to French laws in there was a strike. What happens to that strike is all the flights were moved 1 day earlier. Right. So as pissed off as we were sitting in a bar and talking to a friends, and then we get an email saying, I got an email that, hello sir, we understand that you might have to leave earlier. We'll pay you everything upfront, whatever you are not staying here. But if you rather want to stay and extend your stay at your new home, we are happy to honor the price that you booked our hotel at. And really, that hotel at that time was double the price of what I booked at. So I was quite happy, and I showed it to the guy who was sitting right across me, and he was like, damn, I didn't get this. Instead, what he got was, he got an email at the very same time saying that his room was upgraded to a different view. Look at that real-time personalization, customer segmentation happening and promotion happening in real time. And moving forward, so what they did was, I called him, okay, can I get a boat to my to the airport? And he's like, we are running around, we are having a short, so come early, please. We are running against time, so please come early. I'm like, okay, I'm packing my bags and leaving to the lobby earlier. And he calls me and tells me that you don't have to come earlier, we have booked a private boat for you. I'm like, wow, cool, awesome, right? And then when I go in there, I take that boat, I go out, and when I reached the airport, I figured out that particular boat was getting customers from the airport again. See the supply chain happening right there, right? And then, sensing what I'm very Indian heritage, he walks me, the manager walks me across till I leave the hotel. He walks me across, like in Indian families it happens, right? That you are leaving somebody, they walk you through out the door. So that kind of personalization they were doing, and I was sitting in the flight. So you see everything happening here, supply chain, demand sensing, inventory, risk, price and promotion, everything happening in real time within my few days of stay here. How are they able to do that? And being a geek in myself, I was sitting around and like, how do these guys do this? They have CRM, they have PMS, but you know what they have? They use a chatbot. They really used a chatbot, and instead of me calling in and saying I need a fork or a knife or I need these kind of services, me being B, I was just texting. They were recording all of that data. And based on that, they know my preferences, they know what I eat, they know what my heritage is, they know I'm a price sensitive customer or I am a view sensitive customer, and they were offering it to me in the real time. So that is how they took their strategy to the execution and applied all these factors that are shown on this slide in real time. Thank you, Alak. Can you please move? Next slide, please. So given I talked about the strategy and in detail, but I'll try to give you 5 pointers how to build this strategy out into each and every organization. We all, so the first thing is total visibility. Okay, so it is more about like I said earlier, retailers have endless amount of data. Even hotel chains have lots of data coming in across different touch points and systems. But what happens is they're operating in silos. Lack of data ownership is there, inconsistent data management is there, and that's what creates blind spots. And that is why it is getting difficult to generate insights. What each functional area, let's say marketing, promotions, sales, finance, they are each operating in their own island. So the way to go around this is create a single version of the truth, create a single version that is accessible to all functional leaders, all offering a fully integrated view of internal and external data. Like in my example before, if they were taking, sorry, it's a previous slide, but yeah, in my example before, so if they were taking the social media data, they really know what I am pushing around. So you have to gather data from all the sources, and that's how you create a 360 total visibility. And the three snippets to do how this is, you can create a retail data model, you can democratize your data and use the third-party data that is freely available in the market, like social media as an example. Next slide, please. And this customer centricity is very common since Amazon came in. We are customer obsessed, but put customer at the front and center of whatever you do. You can really reorient your focus and become a truly customer centric, regardless of what channel you are working upon. Don't focus on, instead of focusing on store and product based metrics, focus on customer behavior, focus on net promoter score, focus on customer scores, focus on those profitability and margin expansion. What happens is that only 20% of the customers are high value customers, and other customers are just there to make some profits or to take care of your promotion. So if you can really analyze and find out who are your high value customers, you can avoid the loss making ones, right? And the next thing that I would say is find those loyal customers, find those loyal segments and give them what they need, right? The last thing to do this is to, once you create a customer profile, customer persona, or a 360-degree view of the customer, you can easily analyze their behavior like the hotel chain was analyzing what I'm really doing, and then keep offering them personalized every experience. And I'll come back to that particular example. If you go to the hotel chain's website and you see they do not even have a loyalty program. They say we do not have a loyalty program. We just personalize, and they hit the personalization to the core. Next slide, please. So once you have the data, once you have the personalization, what you got to do is you need to act upon it. And acting up at this particular scale was not possible 10 years back, but it is possible right now with the kind of technology the AI and ML and is providing us. What happens in a retail organizations or in, it's like if it is the people are stuck not with the spreadsheets, the data is just for the data scientist. It is like an ivory tower where it's like academics are working on the data, giving certain insights, and that is being used. That should not be the way. It should be more about data should be used for not only predicting, not only what behavioral insights or insights from the past, but also predicting the future. And historical data is great because it's great because it gives you the prescriptive insights, but it does not tell you the full story. What needs to be done is, and what we help our clients do is that take that historical data, create an iterative test and learn approach, and continuously validate it and use it, and to create to simplify your approach or to make your approach much better. And that's where the explore and exploit model comes in. You take that historical data, you create a hypothesis, use it with your customer, and if it works out, you go ahead and scale it to all the customers. So that's the explore and exploit model we work upon. Next slide, please. Lastly, it's more about, the data challenge is at the core of human force. It's not about just that, okay, we have data scientists, we have a data team. It has to come from the top down. It has to come from the C-suite level, where we just do not give the strategy, but it works into everything as a data-driven organization. The employees needs to have those skills and priorities to adopt and trust AI to provide valuable insights. And our CIO has published a book on AI plus humans. So we do not say that AI will take over humans or humans will be left behind, but together they are a formidable force. AI can do the computing, and you cannot replicate the power of human to make a decision, the experiences that come around. But human cannot take over crunch those 500 million rows to find out what the next step should be. So they should be coming around together and building the next data savvy workforce. The next thing that I would want to say is these kind of engagements should not be just based on, okay, give me the data and give you a model. It should not be just a new technology. It should be a business opportunity, which previous hotels or which previous retailers could not do correctly. So my 3 snippets to work on these data models is make it easy for people, act on recommendations, and make the data-driven culture. And once you have done all the 4 steps, it's not very difficult to go creating new business models. And before I go into this, I'll talk about a little bit about Amazon. If you think Amazon has been there for the last 20 years, and it's every time a retailer is talked about, Amazon is talked about, right? They started collecting 0.5 gig of data in 97. I'm not sure how much data do they have right now, but if you look at their balance sheet, retail is not giving them money. What is making money for them is AWS, the cloud business. They use that particular data to figure out what it will make money for them. And now you are seeing new businesses coming out of Amazon, like going into space, Amazon Prime Video. So all those things can be used to create new business models, to use those predictive and prescriptive insights to generate new business models, to create new revenue streams, to drive down your cost. So the 3 snippets for here on when you're creating new business model is, once you have the data, try to monetize it, because that's a great revenue source and a stream for you. And spot the trends first, and that is where machine learning and AI comes in, that they can look at the data and tell you the trends, and run data hackathons in the company to create that culture where people believe in data and try to use AI. That's all I have got. Thank you, Alec.
Well, thank you very much for sharing your insights, and I'm so glad to be here sharing, the thought leadership insights from Accenture. As you all know, Accenture has been, leading the front in terms of evangelizing the newer technology or newer business model, newer business processes for the C-level executives of industries. And they have been doing it so meticulously in terms of foreseeing what the future could be, and then authoring the books as well as the white papers. And that has kept me always intrigued how the future looks like. These years have been very, very terrible for all of us across industries. This pandemic is still not yet over. I mean, we are still reeling under the pressure caused by pandemic. And what I always see here, the agility is the concept where the business leaders should see before that anything occurs, or any response to change before it occurs. So he gave example of Cipriani could not see that the change caused by pandemic, and they couldn't survive. On the other hand, Fairmont Hotel in the San Jose also could not survive because they could not change quickly to see this particular threat coming in by pandemic. Now, on the other hand, Weber was sharing a lot of insights that some of the retailers have done tremendously well, how they have been able to transform the business processes or change the whole methods to serve their customer. Now, I see in and out here in the hospitality is having long queue, as opposed to some of the restaurant which is completely without any customers. Why is that? So these are some contrast happening in different industry, whether it's the hospitality or retail. So that means we have to think through and start looking at what different approach we have to take. Now, coming from the data background, coming from intelligence background, I can see that our approach for gross operating profit is very significant. We have to look at each line of business, each line of business unit, whether it is contributing to your profitability. And artificial intelligence is just the term being used to make business leaders more intelligent based on the data within their business as well as coming in from outside the business. So they have to have all faculties open, internal, external sources open to receive those data. Data need to be processed in real time so that they get information, they get insight to take corrective action. And that is where I am so fascinated about the AI platform. Centric came out with the ProfitEdge. This year is a very good year for Centric, where we fine-tuned the product, build the whole platform based on our customers who led us to build the platform in terms of robust, accessible, open, flexible platform to provide predictive insight. Now, this is one part of it, but looking at the processes, now Vaibhav kept mentioning about changing the business model. Bricks and mortars model works good for somebody, might not work very well for somebody. So obviously you have to always look the balance of the two. Some of the retailers, they have switched the gear and immediately they have transformed to go on to e-commerce. Some of the hoteliers like Marriott, they have tried to go in Amazon model. Why? Because market demands that. Customer footfall has gone down, and that has not helped customers to go in terms of physical premises to avail the product and services. So obviously we need to also take the task and processes which can be automated and how to reduce the cost of business operations. Technology will be means to an end. So most of the technologies which we are talking about has to be driven by the business leaders who should be looking at which business processes should be automated. How should we automate to reduce the cost? What could be redundant, which can be removed so that your cost of operation goes down? And I'll talk about a very simple thing, like in the front office of the hotel. Do we need to have 5 nice looking receptionists? Maybe not needed at this point in time. Guests do not want to come close to reception. Rather, they wanted to have some smart device to enable them to check in frictionless so that they should immediately come in, they should hand over the baggage to concierge, and they should go to the room. That is the process automation we are talking about. In the retail as well, we don't want to have footfall at your bricks and mortar store. Rather, they should go on the web channel and they should have e-commerce facilitation by which you should be able to enable the customer to take orders, fulfill the order, and deliver at the doorstep. So those are the process automation we are talking about. Now, Centric ProfitEdge is involving around all of this. We took the measures of how should we really look at the customer in real time. Omni-channel, whether it's coming from physical store, physical premises like hotel, restaurant, or a cross web channel from where you should be interacting with customer in real time through conversational AI chatbot. Now, Weber also alluded that the conversational chat, whether you do it automated with the bots or you do it with the real-time humans, it's the same effect is created. If you are chatting, I have just now chatted with many people across the globe on WhatsApp just to help them with some information, either the meeting info or something else. And that is what personalization means. That means you're attending to customer by way of communicate or interaction. And that is the conversational chatbot is trying to replace the human and yet giving the personalized, communication. So now we are talking about how do we really predict the customer behavior, which has changed caused by pandemic. Now, today it is pandemic, tomorrow could be something else. And we need to be very flexible to adapt to the new challenge coming in to us and change the business model. So now we have to look at new way of looking at business profitability, measuring the customer lifetime value. And then assigning how we should cater to the needs of that customer who is contributing 80% of your business, rather than sprinkling the bullet to everybody the same way. You have to go very personalized and very distinct and very, very focused in terms of what customers are asking for. Now, why Centric Profitech? Most of the business leaders have been asking me, what really triggered you to build Centric Profitech? Now, I always looked at coming from Oracle, spending almost 2 decades at Oracle, I felt that data is still lying in Oracle database or relational database. Now, obviously, the relational model of data, which is coming in from supply chain, financials, CRM, or any other point of sale system or your PMS system, but that is not giving you the predictive customer behavior patterns. Rather, it's giving you operational visibility of business. So we built the complete AI-based platform, one-stop shop, which provides you the data access coming in from omni-channel. So we talked about conversational chatbot attached to the web, which is listening to customers' request. And that data stream is coming on Centric repository. Then we are also taking care of the web log files, which is clickstream data on the web, which is also giving you what customer is browsing on the web, which web catalog is key for the customers and how we are optimizing on that. And then we are listening to customer sensors, machineries, all of the data coming in by which we can give you a holistic view of business at one stop. And simultaneously, when we process the data, you will see that there are some indicator which is helping us to predict. That notion of prediction comes from whether the customer will do this. Obviously, that customer will be doing this as the next step. So based on the prediction model, we can also be able to provide some kind of prescriptive guidance to business leaders, not only dashboard reports, but rather alert notification to make corrective action. And certain examples are given always, like if I'm trying to check in the hotel, and if I'm based in the swimming pool, I don't need to see a server coming in to take any orders. Rather, systems should be able to prescribe what guests should be looking at the swimming pool at this time. And then on the smart device, if we can prompt the guest that if you're in the pool, you should be having some drinks along with it, or you should be able to have those kind of benefits which can be provided based on those prescriptive notification. And that optimizes the cost of business operation as well. So giving a very high level solution overview, we have looked at 2 buckets of business, and Centric ProfitEdge comes with 2 SKUs. Revenue Maximizer, one module, which takes care of all revenue channel for business. Where's the business coming from? What are the revenue stream? Is it coming from online travel agent for the hotel, or coming from your web store or aggregators who is taking orders on the retail and shipping across to your doorstep? That is the channel which has to be maximized. Many business owners are telling me that we are beaten up on our physical footfall on the store. But on the other hand, when we opened up the other channel, this is growing. So obviously we need to look at how can we maximize where the potential to grow revenue is. But each revenue channel has its own nuances. Now, if you're getting your stuff delivered at your doorstep, there has to have supply chain, there has to have the delivery mechanism, there has to have the people need to serve better in terms of those. How can you maximize that and optimize your cost of delivery channel? So you have to start looking at means to maximize the revenue, but at the same time, how can you optimize the cost? Now, cost optimization comes through robotic process automation. Now, if we combine these 2 together, then only we can reflect on higher GOP. And this is not a rocket science. I have done it mathematically. If we automate this task, automatically it increases your gross operating profit. So let's say if I impact on 2% growth on the revenue, and 1% reduction on the cost, this impacts your higher GOP, but greater improvement. And that could be measured weekly, monthly, quarterly. And most of the business leaders are commenting on that this could be a magic. And this they have not seen on a daily basis. They have not seen on a weekly basis. They have not seen it based on each department or each line of business. So when we are able to provide in near real time on their smart device, what you see here on a smart device, look and feel. ProfitEdge comes on smart device like this, gives you alert notification, which one is working, which one is not, and how can we give you an alert notification. That's where our value proposition comes from. Simplifying the value in terms of platform, how we do it. People ask me, how do you do it? The simple answer is we get the data which is lying in your silos. Could be on your CRM system, point of sale system, your PMS system could be your some external data source which we capture from your log files or we capture from your feedback system. See all of that coming to Centric repository. And when we collect the data, we create the statistical model, a statistical analysis, which is not your operational dashboard or reporting, but rather classification. So we segment the customer, we classify the customer, we start looking at which customer has not come in last month or week or quarter. How do we measure effectiveness of the campaign of your marketing? How do we measure the effectiveness of customer lifetime value or customer contribution towards your profitability? All of that gives you an action by which we should be able to automate communication through the communication AI product. The communication AI sends the email automatically. Marketing manager shouldn't worry about it. Now, the personalized email comes from Centric communication product. The feedback system, which receives the customer feedback directly. And at the same time, the net promoter score is also automated from Centric, by which you are measuring which customer is promoting, which customer is detracting your product and services. And that is where impact of your revenue comes in. Now, if data lake is streamlined, automatically the model is fine-tuned, we are able to give you predictive guidance, and with predictive guidance, we are able to impact on a positive gross operating profit. So GOP is important for the hotels, that is important for the retailers, and many businesses are telling us that we should be able to now create the whole impact in the business, given whatever situation may be. Now, in terms of growth levers, we have built the core this year, the core ProfitEdge engine. Now, obviously, we are very nimble, very agile, and large organizations are requesting us also to accommodate their business processes. So we can grow the core, pivot it, and expand it with innovation, iterative, and we can scale and grow. So we are well designed on the cloud scale to deploy at a very rapid deployment. And our strategic partners like Accenture and Intertec would be able to take to the market much quickly. And we can achieve this with the customer satisfaction, decrease time to market, and we can also reduce the cost of business operation by automating certain processes. Now, we have got certain good customer references. I'd like Dave to talk about it, and then we will show you some good case examples.
Yeah, tremendous. Thank you so much, Alok, and get ready to start those next things up here. But so yeah, the three that we really wanted to profile is Morning Owl, which is a retailer of mattresses based out of India, as well as a men's clothing store called Jade Blue, which has, I think, 22 some locations plus an e-commerce business. And then the final one is, help me, Alok.
Signum Group of Hotels.
Hotels, that's right, in our hospitality space there in Dubai. And we may even have them on the line here today. So so with that, I think we've got a couple of videos that we want to go ahead and play, and then we'll discuss them on the backside.
Thank you so much, Dave. And talking about Morning Owl, when I was talking to Gaurav who is the co-founder and CEO. I mean, they have built the business truly online. They don't have any store. And now they are gaining a lot of customers who are just placing orders online. Their business is growing. And hear him out what he talks about.
Hey, hi, Dave. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Alak, as well. So this was a very short in detail, like what exactly do we do at Morning Now. So to give you a brief highlight, we started way back in 2017 and the journey has been quite beautiful till now. Over the past 2 years, we have seen good numbers as well. Now, not taking much time, so I'll just delve into the matter. The thing is that when we grow as a company, especially in terms of e-commerce, we have like the visitors increasing every day. Convergence is what actually matter at the end of the day for people who are into e-commerce. Now, here is what we actually realized that yeah, we were doing good, we were hitting numbers, but somehow the conversion ratio was dropping year by year. So if we have to look at the data, we'll see that the conversion ratio was not up to the mark as even when the number of visitors kept on growing from 2019, 2020, and now 2021. So we kind of understood that the main problem could have been not utilizing the insight that we should be getting from the data that we are capturing. Now that is where Centric comes in. Now our association with Centric was primarily in order to improve our customer experience overall, not just before purchasing, even after post purchase, the kind of experience that the customer gets, because that automatically leads to a greater conversion ratio and also helps us retain customers, because at the end of the day we want to be a very customer centric company, and that is our primary goal, because we understand the underlying fact, like any D2C company today understand that customer experience is what matters the most, which will automatically be helping in obtaining the operating margin as well. So maybe through good experience using such tools such as analytics, analyzing the data, which Centric is helping us to understand where are the loopholes, where are the gaps, which could be filled through the data points that we have already gathered but may not have utilized till now. And also through certain other tools that we are making use of is one such is conversational AI, that is like chatbot, which we are integrating into our website to give a very seamless experience to customer. Regarding information on the website that they require, and even like post-purchase or whenever they have any queries. So this is what it has been, and we are looking forward to a very great collaboration, and definitely I'm pretty sure that this collaboration will definitely be helping me and Centric as well.
So this was basically Morning Owl, and coming back to Jade Blue, as I was mentioning, Jade Blue chairman and CEO got engaged with us in the time when they were having issues of footfall. And they realized that they have the data within their businesses, but they were not able to really see in real time what is happening with their customers, what they are buying and what they should be buying, all of that. So we got engaged. First of all, we did the complete drill down insights. And then we started showing them all the details of their customers. They have 475,000 customers in the last 5 years. And when we did the analysis, we realized that segmented customers are not taken care. That means 20% of the customers who are so loyal, contributing to the business profitability, are not taken care the way they should have. So the chairman and CEO commented at one time that, Alak, you have opened our eyes. We have shown exactly what we should be doing, and all our systems are not giving us the visibility the way you have. And now we have started guiding them in terms of the global expansion. We built the e-commerce web interface. Now the conversational bot is getting deployed, and they have now opened the vision to go global, because the e-commerce has no boundaries. Now they have the appetite to come in the US, Europe, and in the Middle East to expand their footfall. So obviously, this is a great example how they're transforming the business and business processes. Signum Group of Hotel is right at the beginning. They said that they wanted to have the GOP system, which could highlight how they should be managing their property more effectively and profitability, because they are the property management group, hotel management company, and they tied up the whole business alongside their hotel properties. Each property is unique for them. Some of them are boutiques, some of them are business hotels, some of them are like that, and they are rewarded based on the customer, what we call occupancy rate, or their average daily rate, and how they should be managing very thin margin because they are given on that. So now we have participated in their journey and executing and deploying across all their properties, and we are doing it very successfully. So with that, I can now go ahead and invite Vijay of Intertec to talk about how Intertec can enable the customers in the Middle East to deploy ProfitEdge with data integration, with services all across, to make sure that it is one-stop offering offered from Centrique and Intertec. Vijay?
Thanks, Alak. Thank you so much. And we, as Intertec, what we do on the ground, how we bring life to the entire Centric ecosystem on the ground in the Middle East and the India geography. What we are doing is, we are the people who are taking the Centric system, bringing an integrated flavor with the entire retail solutions, entire ERP systems, the CRM systems. How do we ensure to integrate and bring it as a complete integrated solution to our customers? Intertec is a known name in the Middle East geography, and in India we have started some 30 years back and have been the people to provide the best of customer satisfaction scores, benchmark customer satisfaction ratings in the region to our customers across these geographies. Next slide, please. Few of the customers where we have already proven experience, proven results, have implemented multiple solutions in different segments, be it retail, real estate, enterprises, healthcare, BFSI, service providers, etc. Many of them. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we were talking about predictive analytics. Who needs it? Who's the right customer segment for the predictive analytics? Is it a retail customer, a real estate, hospitality, healthcare? Today, every customer in one form or the other needs predictive analytics. There are people from various enterprise data is the key. Enterprise data is priceless, and how these enterprises are using data for various segments, various departments. If you look at the diagram there, there are 7 key compelling reasons why enterprises use predictive analytics. Either to compete, to grow, to enforce, to improve, to satisfy, to learn, and to act. Various enterprises are using this, using predictive analytics solutions for multiple segments. Marketing departments are using for growth. Sales department are using for growth. The contact centers are using not only for growth, but also to improve their core business capacity and competitiveness. So multiple departments, if you look at this course, every department in the organization, in every kind of industry today are using predictive analytics systems, and have, as per Gartner predicts that by 2025, 87% of the organizations will be either using predictive analytics themselves or will be forced to use these systems to ensure their competitiveness in the marketplace. Next, please. Now, Weber was talking about data. Data is the new oil. But is data the only piece of information which can help? The data has to be converted to predictable and actionable insights. Now, while predictive analytics can give a lot of data points and a lot of information regarding how and what will happen. To take an example, early retirement decreases your life expectancy. Now, this is a data model which has done an analytics and provided a prediction to the entire ecosystem. But what next? Is it enough? No, it's not enough. To bring this into action, we also need prescription. That's where Centrique comes in picture, because it not gives only the prediction to what's going to happen, it also prescribes to what is the right solution or what is the action that organization needs to take tomorrow to bring this data to action. Slide, please. So few of the use cases where our customers are talking to us to use Centric are listed here. There are 10 key problems that we are solving on the ground for our customers. We are solving the problems of profitability. The customers are talking to us for improving their profitability by the use of Centric, improving revenue, enhancing the revenue by the use of Centric, a 360-degree view of the customer and better in business intelligence requirements, customer acquisitions, new customer acquisition, customer retention. We already saw the example of Signum Hotels where they're trying to use Centric for loyalty program. Customer acquisition and retention, net promoter score is another area where many of the customers are today trying to use Centric and trying to see as to how do we increase the net promoter score by the use of Centric, and the solution given by it's on the predictive and prescriptive analytics. Preventive maintenance and support is another area where we are seeing a lot of traction in the place. Forecasting and price optimization, personalization and recommendations. Personalization solutions. Weber was talking about how the hotel industry is trying to personalize the experience for users. The same use case is driven across industries, across segments, and many of our customers, be it in retail, be it in e-commerce, be it hospitality, are trying to adopt personalization and recommendations with the use of solutions on the Centric side. Returns and loyalty management, and last but not the leads and opportunity management is another area where Centric is proving very useful to our customers. With this, we leave the house open for queries and questions. Thank you.
Vijay, thank you very much for sharing all the details and your insights on AI-related business and how that can help our business. In the meeting, we have a few business leaders as well, and I would like to call out Dr. Piyush Sinha, who is the not only advisor, but he is researcher, professor from IIM Ahmedabad. He's currently now delegated and in Rwanda, and he has logged in from Rwanda. So I will request Dr. Sinha to speak for a few minutes to share his thoughts, how he sees Centric evolving, how he is seeing the business evolving during this change happening across the globe.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Alak. Hi, Dave. Hi, Ashish. Hi, everyone. There's a popular saying, if things are changing, be the change. Now that's a very popular saying that all of us were told when we were actually studying. And what were you doing? Whatever new that you're doing. So the way we looked at and the way we have been working together for about now almost a year and a half, 18 to 20 months now, is that we are actually trying to see things differently. That's what it is. Right? There's no dearth of people who are working in the area of AI, ML, process automation, and all the things. But and if I pick up what Anubhav was also saying, that data is oil and data is also available everywhere. It's flowing freely. Frankly, if you ask me, the question is, what do you do with the oil? Right? We are not even cooking pakoda out of it. Right? So that is where I think we come in, as Centric as we come in, wherein we look at data, not just as data scientists, right? We have a good team of data scientists who are looking at that, but not just at data scientists, but how do we develop a perspective of a business leader? Solutions to the business is something that we are looking at. And what Alak showed is exactly in line with what business problems are. Connecting with customers, recognizing customers, using customer data to enhance revenues, and making sure that customers stick to us, making sure that they give us good rating, making sure that their revenues go up, and at the end of it, profits increase in the business. Right? And this becomes much more imperative because we're just seeing examples of most of the companies. Few sectors and few companies are thriving in this situation also. But most of the people are facing the drop in revenues. When there is a drop in revenue, the only issue is that how can I increase the profitability? Because revenue will not go perk up just like that. you can't just push customers to buy any more because they're not in the state of mind of that kind of a thing. And that is where the kind of work that is happening with Centrique, and I'm so glad that I'm associated with it, is something which is path-breaking. And most important thing is that here you get one seamless solution coming in. You have companies who are working on NPS, you have companies who are working on different solutions, but they are all disintegrated, and integrating them for a customer is itself a task. But when I get something which is seamless and which connects to my value chain across, right? I don't think we have to think twice before implementing it. Having said that, and this is something that I think all the panelists have been saying this, and it is something which we are also experiencing. Still, customers are thinking twice before getting into it, because there are other priorities which are facing straight into their face, and therefore it is necessary for people to really believe in it. It's not just about understanding the importance of it, but the people who are customers who are with us, they believed in this kind of a thing. It's not just that they did not know that the data can do wonders, but they believed in us, and therefore what we are thriving on and what we will thrive on is the faith that the customers put on us and the kind of insights that we bring into the customers, and therefore the new ways that people can start thinking about doing their businesses. So I will not take it. I'll not consider this simply an AI or ML. It's a new way of doing business is what we are looking at. And Alak, I'm so glad to be associated with this, that we are trying to make people to see their businesses, the same business, in a new way, and that is where I think we fit in this digital economy that we are talking about.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sinha. I'm so glad that it's resonating with you along the journey. And I will also request Naresh Kothari, who is in the meeting today. He is the president and chairman of Intertech System. He has been supportive force with Centric. I'll request him to speak and share his thoughts. How is the Middle East economy is impacted, and how we can really bring some change with our AI offerings.
Thanks, Alec, for getting me in suddenly. Well, I will say the economy is really moving fast, and the way the vision of UAE government is highly AI focused and very much focused on new technologies. The vision is very strong. Based on that vision, what we are seeing is adoption of the technology within the business is increasing quite a lot. So there's a lot of interaction today within the government sector as well as within the private sector, particularly those private sectors who are advanced are very much looking forward to getting into implementation of AI. For us as Intertech, the reason of becoming a strategic partner for Centrique was because that's the offering which we were quite excited with to look forward and take it to market. So we're focusing right now on the retail segment and the hospitality segment out there. And we see quite a good traction. We see that, yes, it's a possibility to build it up and get going on to that. Over and above this, we've been discussing and seeing the possibilities of engaging the knowledge of Centrique in building also within the other segments, how we can use them in building in other segments, what can we do there? Because ProfitEdge is something every organization wants to look at. Cost reduction is everything which today every organization wants to look at. This both being a critical component now with the engine that is being built. I've seen how it has moved from the last year to this year, how it has really evolved. And I think that today it is becoming something which is tangible and one can see what's coming out of that engine. So I must really congratulate Alak for how he has taken it forward, moved it here, and the whole team out there. We can see something that can be really delivered effectively to the customers. That's what I have to say, Alak, and all the best to you.
Thank you very much indeed, Naresh, for your consistent guidance and support. And we have all our team listening as well, led by Frank, who is our VP Technologies, Don Helfrich, who is data scientist, all across, and they are the force to build this engine of ProfitEdge. And as we are approaching towards the holidays of Christmas, New Year, I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy holidays and Merry Christmas, the New Year, as we step in the new year in 2022. Hopefully 2022 brings a lot of joy, a lot of growth for all of us. And with this, I would like to take any question if anyone has with for the panelist or for anybody in the panel. So 1 or 2 questions before we wrap up.
I've looked in chat. I didn't see anything there, but if people want to come off microphone and just ask, that's fine with me. Otherwise, we'll kind of wrap it up.
Yep. Thank you very much, everybody. And we look forward to again engaging with you. And if any pertinent request or query, please shoot it across to us via email and we'll follow it up.
And that email address is info@centrique.com. So with that, happy Q4, happy end of the year, happy new year, everyone. And we look forward to engaging with you in 2022. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you all. Bye-bye.